In progress.
Thank you for joining us for today's Altadena Community Meeting. Last week, I joined FEMA for a listening session to share about the county's experience working with the federal government in the immediate aftermath of the Eaton fire. I emphasized to them how critical federal disaster response and recovery are, especially providing direct funding to residents. I conveyed how crucial this immediate aid was in meeting your urgent needs. Since January, FEMA has distributed almost $150 million in funding to wildfire survivors in LA County, $50 million for housing assistance, and nearly $100 million for other needs. I also conveyed my thanks to the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency and the U.S. Army Corps of Engineers, the latter of which, as of last week, completed its final debris removal for private properties in Altadena. I cannot thank the Army Corps enough for helping us complete this mission in record time and for being such an incredible partner. We are on the path toward rebuilding in large part because of them. Though I'm excited that we've come so far, I also acknowledge that there are serious issues that persist for Altadena residents. I recognize that insurance issues continue to be top of mind for so many of you. A new report by the Department of Angels revealed that 70% of insured fire survivors are facing delays, denials, or underpayments. I'm aware this is derailing your recovery and preventing you from making basic decisions about your futures. While the county doesn't have jurisdiction over the insurance industry, I will continue to use my voice to call for change. The insurance industry must step up, and state regulators must ensure that they do. I am advocating for 6 core reforms that are needed to strengthen consumer protections and accelerate recovery for wildfire survivors. First, insurers must be required to pay out maximum amounts allowable under all coverage categories in existing insurance contracts for policyholders who are underinsured. This would provide families with the capital they need to rebuild and to move forward. Second, systemic complaints against insurance companies must be fully evaluated before any rate increases are even considered. Third, insurers should offer meaningful discounts to customers who meet or exceed home hardening and fire resiliency standards. Fourth, I urge the state legislature to pass SB 495, which would allow policyholders who lose their homes to claim 60% of personal property coverage without itemization, or up to 100% with itemization to speed up recovery. I also urge insurance providers to proactively implement this policy. Fifth, I support increased transparency and accountability, including efforts to create a set of best practices and a state-issued insurance report card that scores insurance on claims, handling, speed, and customer service. Finally, I urge Commissioner Lara's Smoke Claims and Remediation Task Force to move swiftly to develop long overdue insurance coverage standards for testing and remediation of smoke-damaged homes. It is time for insurers and regulators to step up and meet the moment with urgency, compassion, and with action. I will continue to advocate on your behalf every step of the way. Thank you for joining us this afternoon and for using your voice on these important issues.
Good afternoon. I'm Major Todd Ober with the United States Army Corps of Engineers. Thank you, Supervisor, for allowing me the opportunity to speak today. As of today, we have completed the private parcel debris removal program, and only 2 special inclusion parcels remain before we complete our full debris removal program. In addition, we have begun restoration of the Altadena golf course as of this morning. I would like to take this opportunity to provide some additional details on that project at this time. Thus far, we have ceased all reduction operations at the golf course. We have demobilized mobilized all of the processing equipment. We have shipped all the reduced material stockpiles, and we have removed soils that might have been impacted by our work. Today, the 18th of August, we have begun work on restoring the golf course to playability. We have trucked in new soil to bring the golf course back up to grade, and we'll be working on placing it in line with the advice of a golf professional. We expect earthwork to be completed by mid-October and sod to have been placed by the end of October. The driving range will be restored by the middle of November, and we expect to hand the property back over to the Department of Parks and Recreation by the end of the calendar year. Throughout this process, the project will be overseen by occupational safety specialists and engineers from the Corps of Engineers to ensure that everything is done in accordance with the plan that we have established with our partners, the Department of Parks and Rec. Thank you for your attention. This concludes my brief.
My name is Azar Katan. I'm the Deputy Director for Health Protection for the Department of Public Health. I want to provide some important information for folks who are tenants in a rental housing unit in the unincorporated Altadena area. Public Health has a rental housing habitability program that is authorized to inspect rental housing units in the unincorporated areas of the county for compliance with health and safety standards. Inspectors will respond to tenant habitability complaints in unincorporated Altadena related to potential fire-related impacts to their rental housing units. As you know, the devastating Eaton fire created significant amounts of smoke and ash that deposited downwind from the fire, and this smoke may have affected rental housing buildings and units that were in or near the burn areas. Fire-related smoke, ash, and soot can get into attics, insulation, or the building's heating, ventilation, air conditioning systems, or other ductwork, and could present a health risk to tenants. When Public Health receives a complaint, which can be filed online or by phone, a county rental housing habitability program inspector will contact the Altadena tenant and arrange a time and date to inspect the rental housing property and unit for smoke, ash, and soot issues. The inspector will also contact the rental property owner to discuss the inspection protocol and concerns raised by the tenant or tenants. If during the inspection there are observable smoke or ash impacts from the Eaton fire, Public Health will order the landlord and/or rental property owner to hire a certified professional, such as an environmental health consultant or industrial hygienist, to evaluate the rental housing property for smoke, ash, and soot damage, including both the interior of the unit and the building systems, such as attics, HVAC system, insulation, and ductwork, and to perform testing as warranted to evaluate the fire's impact on the property. If repairs or improvements are needed, the inspector will verify with the rental property owner that the recommended work has been completed. Public Health intends to work with rental property owners to achieve the appropriate evaluation and remediation, but the property owner's failure to comply can result in an administrative hearing where fines and other remedies might be ordered. State law requires rental property owners to make sure rental housing units are safe and habitable. Because of the very close proximity of Altadena to the Eaton burn area, professional evaluation of the building structures and systems by certified environmental consultants or industrial hygienists is necessary to accurately assess habitability of the rental housing units. Tenants who live in the unincorporated Altadena area can contact the county's rental housing habitability program to make a complaint by phone by calling 888-700-9995 and selecting option 3, or by emailing us at dph-rhhp@ph.lacounty.gov. If you'd like more information in general about the rental housing habitability program, you can visit www.ph.lacounty.gov/rhhp. Thanks for your time today.
Good afternoon, and thank you for the opportunity to provide a permit progress update. My name is Kira Barnett, and I'm an Assistant Deputy Director at Los Angeles County Public Works. And if we could go to the next slide, please. As of today, 1,422 rebuild applications have been received by Los Angeles County for the Eaton fire area. This number includes all permit types, including single-family homes, accessory dwelling units, garages, accessory structures, multifamily applications, and non-residential properties. planning has cleared 1,067 zoning reviews. 670 properties have submitted full building plans and advanced into the building review stage. Separate permits are created for each structure, and we have a total of 1,015 structures in various stages of building review. Including all permit types, 144 parcels have active permits for a total of 196 structures with permits issued. We've been averaging 62 days from initial submittal to permit issuance for new residential projects, which includes design times to create and submit full building plans, as well as respond to comments received. And if we can move to the next slide, please. This guide on the right outlines the step-by-step path to rebuilding after a disaster, from cleaning up debris to moving back into your home. The process is a partnership where residents handle certain steps and LA County handles others. For our unified permit application, LA County has streamlined the application process by creating one unified application for all 4 permitting departments, including county fire, public health, public works, and regional planning. Eaton fire survivors can submit rebuild applications in person at the Altadena One-Stop Permit Center, located at 464 West Woodbury Road in Altadena, or online at epicla.lacounty.gov. All departments are committed to expediting your reviews. Rebuild projects will be reviewed within 10 business days for initial reviews and 5 business days for additional reviews. Applications are being internally routed to all county departments for concurrent review, which removes the burden of following up with each department by the applicant. And if we can move to the next slide, please. Added below our permit progress dashboard is a link to a detailed project and program status dashboard. This page shows additional information and data points without overwhelming the information on the main dashboard page. The main dashboard is updated every 3 hours on weekdays. To keep track of progress over time, trend lines have been added for each department, showing the weekly count of submissions and the comprehensive count of plans submitted to date. On screen is a screenshot of the data shown for each fire area, and the department can be selected below the graphs. This is planning's data on screen, and they are averaging about 70 submittals per week in the Altadena area. And if we can move to the next page, please. Toggling between the departments, you can review and see that Public Works is receiving about 50 plans per week, and that number has gone up as recent in August. For public health, about 370 damaged or destroyed parcels are served by on-site wastewater treatment systems. And public health review properties that are rebuilding if they're on an on-site wastewater treatment system. Public health to date are receiving about 1 or 2 referrals per week. For fire departments, for water and access review, fire department are receiving an average of 10 plans per week. Interior fire sprinklers are required for all rebuilds, and those are a deferred submittal to fire department, meaning that sprinkler plans are submitted after the building permits are issued at the appropriate stage during construction. Those reviews will be tracked and reported separately. If we can move to the next slide, please. So moving topics, the county has partnered with the state and philanthropy to introduce Archistar, which is an AI-powered software that can screen plans for zoning and building compliance before they're submitted to the county, reducing review times. This tool allows homeowners or designers to upload plans for screening prior to submission to the county. The AI tool flags potential issues with the plans, ensuring a complete package, which can reduce comments and back and forth in reviews. And the next slide, please. As of last Tuesday, August 12th, 141 accounts were created in Archistar. 48 rebuild plans were created and submitted, and Archistar rejected 19 uploads as incomplete. 26 rebuild plans were reviewed by both Archistar and planning, and reports were returned to the customers. And 1 was in review by Archistar, and 2 were in review by planning as of Tuesday last week. 11 of the customers who received reports have applied for building permits. If we could move to the next slide, please. Shifting to a pre-approved plan pilot program update, which allows designers to submit and get plans substantially approved by LA County, allowing a homeowner, if they were to select a pre-approved plan, to save time on design and also on plan review. 50 pre-approved plans have been submitted to LA County to date, and planning have cleared 41. Full building plans have been received for 15 applications, and 5 have been approved. As some have multiple styles, there are now a total of 13 included in our catalog. If you could go to the next slide, please. So our pre-approved plan catalog can be found by selecting Learn More on the recovery.lacounty.gov site. It's on screen there, recovery.lacounty.gov/rebuilding/pre-approved plans. And this screen shows that we have a variety of companies who now have pre-approved plans available, and some of them have multiple styles for each of the plans submitted. So while we have 5 plans approved, there's 13 total included in our catalog with the various design types. And if you could go to the next slide, please. This is renderings of some of those pre-approved plan options. And again, if you go to that pre-approved plan catalog, you can select the individual postings to get more complete fact sheets. And that concludes my updates for today. So thank you for your time.
Our project is called Greetings Tour. My wife Lisa and I left New York in 2015 to travel the country full-time in an RV, painting large letter postcard murals. And we finally had the opportunity to start creating them here in a place we now call home in Altadena and Pasadena. LA County Parks reached out to us to create a mural for the reopening of Alta Park, and I wanted to extend the opportunity to other artists who were affected locally and give them a chance to express what the area and the park itself meant to them. Within the piece, we have 8 letters, and we wanted to give one letter as a canvas to 8 different artists.
Because I've painted this site before and have been in this area for many years, it does have a lot of meaning for me. This has really been my primary studio, right here on the streets. The painting that I did here, this is actually the other side of that building right there. Thousands of people have walked right by it, and I don't know if they really paid attention to the interesting architecture here. You know, little things like that kind of grab my attention. And I'm hoping that people won't just walk right by it and not pay attention to these little details.
I knew that I wanted to paint the pool because it's my favorite thing to do in the summertime. You know, it's there for the whole community to use it. Altadena really embraces community, and that's one of the reasons that I've really loved living here. I wanted to show the feeling of being surrounded by nature, put in some bright colors, make it feel really like vibrant and happy.
It's a special thing about Altadena that they have some of the most beautiful trails. It's like the majesty of California is just right there on the outskirts of Los Angeles. I went on an epic hike. My friend and I came across a bear bathing in the stream, just like rolling around in the water, giving himself a bath, and we're like looking in awe, like, oh my gosh, I can't believe we get to see this. It was such a majestic sight that really stuck with me.
In the L, I painted in Loma. I partnered with the San Gabriel Mission Indians of the Tampa Nation. My general idea was just to focus on basic necessities of life, you know, like food and shelter, their traditional dwellings, and all the native plants and fruits that sustain their life.
So it's actually the scenery from right here. Like you see the mountains, it's that tree over there and stuff like that. We didn't really have a lot of murals in Altadena, but obviously this one in particular is cool because it hopefully inspires people to have some form of hope that things are gonna like build back, things will be okay.
There's an equestrian center here, and it's pretty much taken from the references taken from there. That's him and his kid. I guess they've been riding horses here for a while.
wanted to make sure to incorporate the peacock because ever since I've lived in Altadena, they've kind of been part of our story. I just feel like anyone who lives in Altadena knows that we lived in such like this dense wilderness area where whether it was the peacocks or the parrots or there was even a bobcat on my roof, like we lived in the wilderness and it was beautiful. It's awesome.
To work on this is really nice. When my husband and I were talking about what this park represented to us was our kids and birthday parties that we attended here with our kids' friends. That's why ours is a little nod to that, where we included birthday balloons in the canopy that everybody would have their parties under. Also, all the trails behind here that we would frequent, nod to that trek up the hill.
I'm hoping that people will look at these images and remember some of the good things that they've experienced in Altadena.
We were all nervous about how it would look with everyone having their own unique styles all tied together, but I think in the end it did all come together. And part of the beauty is the diversity of all these different styles, so you can stand there and look at what calls to them the most. And just like a community, you know, people have different views, and that's okay, you know. It did work out, and it was a beautiful piece that I'm proud of, and a lot of other artists are proud of too.